Hi everyone, it's Angie. Welcome back to my channel, Literary Labors. Today I am doing an autumn, fall, Halloween book haul. I filmed an autumn haul last year and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I would go ahead and film another one this year. Now these are books that I have purchased throughout the year. They definitely were not all purchased within the last few weeks. A couple of them were, but not all. And you might have heard me talk about some of these books if you've watched any of my TBRs or my vlogs, but I'm going to try to keep it short and simple. If there's something I want to say about a book, I will. Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and mention the title and the author, and I'm just going to go ahead and start with the very book at the top, and that is The Witches. This is adapted by Penelope Bagiu. I believe she's French. I don't know how to say that in French, or with a French accent. I don't know how to pronounce the name at all. I'm sorry. And this is, of course, adapted from Roald Dahl's The Witches. My local independent bookstore, or a local independent bookstore, posted a photo of this on their Instagram page, and I knew I had to buy it, so I bought this from them on Friday. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I read The Witches to my students every year in October, and I love the book, so I'm really looking forward to reading the graphic novel. The art style isn't necessarily my favorite, but I like the cover a lot. Okay, let me see, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to put these books? I guess I'll move my little ghost aside and put it right there. I should say before I continue that some of these books are explicitly meant for Halloween, and some of them are just vaguely Halloweenish, I guess. So this next book that I have is Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantasky. This is a book that I've had on my Goodreads TBR for years. This is about a girl, a high schooler, who finds out that she is royalty, maybe, and she starts dating a zombie. That's all I know. I don't know how the two are connected, if they're connected at all. I don't even know if that's what the plot of this book is about, but I know it has to do with zombies and a high schooler who dates a zombie. This next book is one that I bought on Book Outlet, and that is Ghost Stories of an Antiquary, a graphic collection of short stories by M.R. James, adapted by Leah Moore and John Repion. And this has a 1, so I think this is probably like volume 1. And I read M.R. James for the first time last year. I really enjoyed most of his stories. A couple of them were a bit dull, but overall I enjoyed M.R. James quite a lot, so I'm looking forward to reading the graphic novels. This next one is a book that I know nothing about. I saw this at Barnes & Noble a few weeks ago, and that is Ghosts Never Die by Joel A. Sutherland, and this is part of the Haunted series. There are other books in the Haunted series, including The Nightmare Next Door, Field of Screams, and Night of the Living Dolls. This next book is one that I've already mentioned in my Fall Into Reading Challenge TBR, and that is Hunger on the Chisholm Trail by M. Ennenbach, a splatter western. And all I know is that this takes place on the Chisholm Trail, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty bloody read. I have Down a Dark Hall by Lois Duncan, and the little quote at the top is, "The dead are dying to live again." I don't know anything about this book. I read her book, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think, and it was okay. I never read Lois Duncan when I was in high school or when I was in middle grade, so yeah, I'm pretty new to her writing, but this looks good. These next 3 books are books that I first heard about from Linda over at, why am I blanking on her channel name? Linda's World of Books? I don't know why I'm forgetting her channel. I watch her vlogs all the time. But anyway, yeah, I first heard about these through her, and this is a series, a trilogy, I guess, maybe, by Jonathan Stroud, and they are part of the Lockwood and Company series. The first book is The Screaming Staircases. Then there's also The Whispering Skull. And the third book, The Hollow Boy. And honestly, I don't know what these books are about. They just looked really interesting. The covers did. So I went ahead and bought all three of them off of Book Outlet. I saw this one at Half Price Books the other day and I couldn't pass it up. This is the story of an East Texas tenant farmer and his fight to support his family during the Great Depression, and that is Hold Autumn in Your Hand by George Sessions Perry. And I guess there was a question as to whether this was fiction or nonfiction, and the little Half Price sticker says fiction. It's handwritten on there, so this is fiction. This next book is one that I purchased to read for the seasonal reading challenge, which I did through Goodreads during the summer, and I never got around to reading this book, and that is The Tale of Rawhead and Bloody Bones by Jack Woof. And apparently this is pretty gruesome. I didn't realize how gruesome it was going to be, but I should have figured it out by the Bloody Bones part of the title, I guess. And let me read you a little bit of the back. Meet Tristan Hart, a brilliant young man of means. The year is 1751, and at the age of 20, he leaves home to study medicine at the Great Hospital of St. Thomas in London. It will be a momentous year for the intellectually ambitious Mr. Hart, who, as well as being a student of Locke and Descartes and a promising young physician, is also psychotic. He is obsessed with the nature of pain and medically preventing it, but his equally strong and much harder to control obsession is with causing it. Desperate to understand his deviant desires before they are his undoing, he uses the new tools of the age, reason and science and skepticism, to plumb the depths of his own dark mind. Ooh, that sounds like it's going to be really gruesome. I don't know. I may start reading this at some point and then DNF it because I can't do blood and gore. This next one is one that I found through Book Outlet, and that is The Witches, Suspicion, Betrayal, and Hysteria in 1692 Salem by Stacy Schiff. And after reading A Season with a Witch, I'm looking at the book right now, A Season with a Witch by J.W. Ocker, I decided I wanted to read more on Salem. I mean, I've always been pretty fascinated by the Salem witch trials, but I've not read much about it, and now I want to read as much as I can. So I'm trying to build up my collection of Salem books. This next one is apparently 3 books in one. I could be wrong, but this is Speaks the Nightbird by Robert McCammon. It says the complete 2-part novel, now in 1 volume. That's what it is. And so all I know about this book is that it has to do with a witch in a village in the Carolinas during the 1700s. That's all I know. It has amazing reviews on Goodreads, so I want to get to this eventually. I don't know when. I did consider reading this this season, but I decided it was too daunting, too much of a chunky book, and so I think I may leave it maybe for summer. This next book is one that I'm really excited for, and that is Poeland, The Hallowed Haunts of Edgar Allan Poe by J.W. Ocker. I'm just going to say Ocker. It might be Ocker, but I'm going to say Ocker. And I just mentioned his book, A Season with the Witch, which I really enjoyed. I started reading that one last October, and I didn't finish it until April. And you might think, well, if you put a book aside for that long, that really doesn't sound like you enjoyed it. But I did. It's just the kind of reader I am. Once the season is over, I feel like I need to put all of the books down that were meant for that season, and then I don't pick them back up until the season returns in a year. Anyway, it's just what I do. But I'm really excited for this. I hope I do get a chance to read it in October. Then I have 2 books in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. I believe this is book 2, Haunting Prince Dracula, and this may be the final book in the series, but I'm not sure. Escaping from Houdini. This one doesn't seem as appealing to me. I mean, Houdini's a fascinating man, but I don't know that I really want to read this. And also book 1 was a book that I loaned to my niece's boyfriend over a year ago, and he has not read it and he has not returned it. And that is one reason I don't loan out my books, because I am very possessive of my books, and I don't want them to get lost or bent or just misplaced in any way. I know, and I don't borrow people's books because I tend to do that. I tend to borrow a book and never read it. So I never ask people to let me borrow their books. Sometimes people will loan me their books, like my brothers. They've loaned me a couple of their books, which I've not read, but that is their fault for letting me borrow books that I did not request. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's stop talking about that. Okay, then I have a book of poetry. This is children's poems by Jack Perlutsky, and this is The Headless Horseman Rides Tonight. And Jack Perlutsky, if you've not read any of his poetry books and you are a teacher or a homeschooling parent or just somebody who likes quirky poetry, definitely check out Jack Perlutsky. One of my favorite of his collections is The Dragons Are Singing Tonight. I'll put a picture somewhere here of that collection. I really like those poems, and this was pretty incredible. I really liked the title poem, is that what you call it? The Headless Horseman, or yeah, it's just The Headless Horseman. Yeah, these were really good. And I bought this for myself. I'll use the poems when we study poetry in my class, but this book is staying in my house. It's not going to be a part of my classroom library books. This is a book that I've already read, and I'm pretty sure I bought it this year, and that is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. This is book 2 in the Cassidy Blake series. I read book 1. I don't remember the title. City of Ghosts. I'm pretty sure that's the title. I read that first book last year, I think, as a buddy read with Rachel from BookBoop. No, not last year. I think I read it the year before. Wait a minute. So is this not a purchase from this year? Maybe this isn't a purchase from this year. I know it was published in 2019. I think I might have bought it at the end of 2019. So technically it's been within the year that I've purchased it. But anyway, I thought book 1 was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know if I was just in a better headspace when I read book 2, but I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I liked book 1. And book 3 was supposed to, I think, release this year, but it was pushed back to 2021, and I believe that one takes place in New Orleans. So I'm really excited for that one. This next book doesn't really have anything autumnal or Halloweenish except for the title and the cover, and that is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. Now, I picked this book up on Friday when I was at my little independent local bookstore purchasing The Witches. I decided to browse and look around, and I saw this. The title caught my eye, and I'm pretty sure I've seen this on Goodreads somewhere because the cover looked really familiar. Now, I'm going to read the back just because I don't think I'm going to explain it very well. So this says, in the north of England, far from the intrusions of cities, but not far from civilization, Sylvie and her parents are living as ancient Britons, surviving by the tools and knowledge of the Iron Age. Sylvie's father has raised her on stories of early man, taken her to witness rare artifacts, recounted time and again their rituals and beliefs, particularly their sacrifices to the bog. Now, mixing with students in an experiential anthology class, Sylvie begins to see, hear, and imagine another kind of life, one that might include going to university, choosing her own clothes and food, speaking her mind. The ancient Britons built ghost walls to ward off enemy invaders, rude barricades of stakes topped with ancestral skulls. When the group builds one of their own, they find a spiritual connection to the past. How far will they go to summon this elusive history? Sounds pretty interesting. I purchased a physical copy of book 2 in the Wallflowers series by Lisa Kleypas, and that is It Happened One Autumn. And I don't know why I purchased book 2. I thought book 1 was okay. I know I really enjoyed book 3 when I read it several years ago. But yeah, anyways, I bought book 2. This next book is one that I've had on my Amazon shopping cart for a couple of years, and I finally decided to go ahead and purchase it, and that is Poems Bewitched and Haunted. It's a book in the Everyman's Library Pocket Poets series. I mean, look at that cover. It's so cute. I'm going to try to read a poem a day in October. I don't know how many poems there are. I should probably check to see if there are, oh, it's definitely more than 31. So I'll have to probably double and triple up on these poems if I plan to read it in October. So yeah, I'm glad I finally have this. This next book is another one that I've had on my Amazon cart for a while, and that is Night of the Living Dead by E.J. Copperman. And all I know is that this is about a woman who moves into a house with her 9-year-old daughter. She gets hit on the head and starts seeing ghosts, maybe. And I think I first heard about this book from Bree over at Bree Hill, Falling for Romance. This next book is one that I saw advertised either on Facebook or Instagram, and it is book 1 in a series. This is Kitty and the Moonlight Rescue by Paula Harrison and illustrated by Jenny Lovely. Oh, I don't know if I said that right. And this is about a girl named Kitty who finds out she has superpowers just like her mother. These next two books are both books that I've already read, and they are part of the Hallowed series by Christopher Golden and Ford Little Gilmore. Book 1 is Horseman, and book 2 is Drowned. These do take place in Sleepy Hollow in New York, and they are part of, at least this one has to do with the Headless Horseman. I don't remember what this book is about. I remember really enjoying this one. I don't know if I liked book 2 as much. And these were both purchased off of thrift books. Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchak is a book that I really don't know much about. I think it's about a girl who goes to live with a great uncle, and he's a little bit strange, a little bit odd. That's all I know. This book, The OK Witch by Emma Steinkellner, is a book I purchased from Barnes & Noble. It was buy one, get one 50% off. And this, I believe, is about a girl who discovers that she is a witch. I don't usually purchase multiple books by an author that I've never read before, but I did buy 2 books by Kat Winters off of Book Outlet. I purchased The Steep and Thorny Way. Look at that cover. I couldn't pass that up. That's too beautiful. And I bought Odd and True. Book Outlet had a couple other books of hers, but I didn't buy them because they didn't sound as interesting. Again, I don't remember what either of these are about. I did know at one point, which is why I bought them, but I don't remember now. But the covers are gorgeous. This book is one that I first heard about from Emily Cook over at Our Schooling, and that is The Peculiar Incident on Shady Street by Lindsay Curry. Again, a book I knew the plot of at one point, but now I don't. These last 2 books are books you've heard me talk about if you have watched either any of my recent reading vlogs or if you watched my Boo to You Readathon TBR. And I have here A Night in the Lonesome October by Roger Zelazny, and all I know about this book is that it brings together several characters from literature, from horror, and mystery. And finally, I have True Ghost Stories and Eerie Legends from America's Most Haunted Neighborhood by David Domini. I've talked about this several times already. This is nonfiction. This man, David Domini, buys a house, a mansion, in one of the most haunted neighborhoods in the U.S., in Louisville, Kentucky, and he talks about his paranormal experiences, and he also collects stories of paranormal occurrences that happened to other people in the neighborhood. So that is it. That is my autumn, fall, Halloween book haul. I hope you can hear me, because if not, I'm going to have to refilm this, and I really don't want to. Anyway, let me know what books you have purchased for this season. Let me know if there's something you recommend, something that I should buy. Please let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching and commenting and subscribing if you are a subscriber. I will talk to you later.